The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on this episode 515, asterisk, of Skywalking Through Neverland. I was expecting a fun ride that really didn't have all that much to do with the greater MCU. Boy, was I wrong.
Beyond that, it dealt with something on a deeper level, and that was mental health.
And when that Thunderbolts logo came up, I was like, oh, well, where's Harrison Ford in this trailer? But it wasn't. It's the different movie.
This is gonna be different, isn't it?
I feel like this film is the therapy session we didn't know we needed.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets loud.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers!
Asterisk.
What happens when you assemble 5 ragtag heroes from different films, and then you throw Bob in the mix? Well, we get an Avengers-style team-up we haven't gotten for quite some time, and we've been missing. More on that later on, but right now, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who looks very adorable in her Captain America attire.
Yeah, don't I? I love it.
Okay, how many Captain Americas are there? Steve Rogers,
Oh.
Sam Wilson, there was...
John Walker.
Mm-hmm. And now you.
Oh, I love it. I don't have super serum, but then neither does Sam Wilson, so it's okay. You don't need super serum to be Captain America.
Okay, then we'll slide you over to the Peggy Carter side.
Oh, that works too. Woohoo! Captain Carter.
It all makes sense now.
Yes. Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture fandom. So it's time for your weekly Wookiee hug and your little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now, Richard, last week was so exciting for YouTube because we passed 10,000 subscribers. And I forget where we were, but now where are we?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we went up by another couple of hundred.
What?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Skywalkers are telling friends and they're telling 2 friends and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we are at the staggering subscriber number of 10,519.
Whoa.
We went way above that
I think
projected 500, that projected 10,000 mark.
Yeah, I think we were at 10,300 last week, and now we're at 10,500. That is amazing. So thank you, Skywalkers, and welcome all of you new ones.
I think we got some more during May the 4th.
Yeah, that would
We were
make
handing
sense.
out buttons left and right at Disneyland, so that would
Yeah.
account for a good handful.
It's a big Star Wars week, but it's also a big Marvel week since this new film comes out. So coming up in this episode, we review and break down the new MCU film, Thunderbolts, asterisk. We have lots to say on this second of 3 MCU films for 2025. And like we do, we will give you a primer on the characters you may remember from other shows and films, but just to jog your memory a little bit. And yes, there will be spoilers.
Okay, there was Captain America, Brave New World, Order of the Phoenix.
Right. Yes. Exactly
Is that what it's called?
Brave New World.
Brave New World, and then Thunderbolts, and then Fantastic Four. 3 films coming out in a year.
Yes.
They haven't done that in a while.
No, they really haven't.
All right, but you know what we haven't done since last week? Told everyone that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or your trip to the Universal Studios theme parks. Good things come in threes.
That's right.
And best of all, this service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. Get to say it 3 times.
And then
This show is brought to you by the number 3.
And then Epic Universe will appear? Is that how this works? If you say it 3
No,
times?
then they'll get a no obligation price quote.
Okay.
What more could you ask for?
I was going into Beetlejuice territory at that point. Say it 3 times. That would be bad.
Very, very bad.
Asterisk.
You know what would be even worse than that?
What?
Another Beetlejuice movie. Just leave it at 2. Leave it at 2.
Yeah. We are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on May 6th, 2025. Revenge of the Sixth.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, Richard, what happened today? Actually, wait, before we go there, Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th? Where do you fall?
It has to be Revenge of the 5th, so we get a 1-2 punch with May the 4th be with you, and then Revenge of the 5th. We can't have like a day off.
Okay.
It just breaks the momentum, but why not do all 3 days?
Well, yes, I have an alternate view. Always 2 there are. Revenge of the 5th and Revenge of the 6th. That are the 2 bad versus the 1 good.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, because that's another day to celebrate the Sith.
Yeah, and Star Wars.
And, well, the whole month
Absolutely.
of May is Star Wars
It is.
month.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, cool. I just wanted to know.
Okay, there you go.
So we are recording this episode on May 6th, Revenge of the 6th, 2025. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, we have to wish a happy 61st birthday to Lars Mikkelsen, who was born on this date, May the 6th, 1964. He's older than me. Finally, someone's older than me. Now, Lars Mikkelsen voiced Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, then went on to play the character in Ahsoka, and I'm so glad that they chose him instead of choosing another actor, because when you hear Thrawn, you hear Lars Mikkelsen. I almost said Mars Lickelson.
You did say it.
Surprisingly, he wasn't at the Ahsoka panel at Star Wars Celebration Japan.
Yes.
But we do know that Thrawn will face off against Admiral Akbar. If you listen very closely, maybe they're shooting that scene as we speak.
That would be so amazing.
Yes. Now, he was born in Copenhagen with his brother, Mads Mikkelsen, a.k.a. Galen Erso from Rogue One, and they learned how to speak English by watching Monty Python.
Wow.
Something I've just never gotten into watching Monty Python.
Agreed,
So
yeah.
they would recite the sketches. Like, all the kids in my high school thought they were cultured because they could repeat Monty Python. But for the Mikkelsen brothers, that's how they learned English.
and they performed all the funny accents.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just wish we had iPhones back then, because I want to see footage of that. That's the next time we see either one of them.
Oh,
sorry. Either one, we got to ask them, go back to when you were like 5 or 6 years old, and how would you do your Monty Python sketches? Recite one of the Monty Python sketches for us. Wouldn't that be so much? I'm sure
would be
he's
so
never
cool.
gotten asked to do that.
That would be amazing.
All
wow.
right. Lars and Mads, we're coming for you. Do you know who else we're coming for?
What?
The Thunderbolts.
Asterisk.
So now let's break down the film, give our reviews, and give a primer on the characters and situations you should know before going in.
I was in high school when the Avengers came. Kind of strange that it's all over now. No one's coming to save the day.
I think we are. We can be the ones that are coming.
Buck, you have the wrong people. We have all done bad things.
Look, I've been where you are. The past doesn't go away. So you can either live with it forever, or you can do something about it.
That's why we need each other.
We can't stop him alone. No one can. But we can find a way. Together.
Marvel
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, asterisk, is the 36th MCU film and the final film of Phase 5 of the MCU. Fun fact. And it was just released on May 2nd. We are happy to say that the film is off to a strong start at the box office. Over the weekend, it grossed $74 million.
That is very good, but asterisk there. Get used to that, Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
Captain America Brave New World made $88 million the first weekend.
Okay.
This made 74, but Captain America dropped off by a significant amount.
And
I don't think this is going to drop off by that much.
I feel like word of mouth is much better for this film.
And I think that's why it didn't get to that 88 or more $1 million of the opening weekend. But after hearing all these great reviews, I think it's going to do so much better than most films during their second week.
And in fact, I would love to see it again. Like when we have some time, we should get ourselves to the movie theater, see it again. Yeah, and that's saying something.
It is, because going to the theater, we don't like doing that at all.
Exactly.
But you know what? We'll do it.
Yeah, so fans and critics all seem to be on the same page with this film. So on Rotten Tomatoes, the film is holding a certified fresh rating of 88% with critics. Now, to give you an example of that, it's better than Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That was at 82%. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was at also 82%. And Deadpool and Wolverine, it's over Deadpool and Wolverine, which was at 79%.
That is so odd. Why that didn't get in the 90s?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Now, this says it all from the Hollywood Reporter's review. They say, while a handful of the characters and the actors playing them have appeared in previous entries, there's a disarming freshness to this first-time assembly, not to mention something even more unexpected: heart. That's due to an appealing ensemble cast and the new blood of a creative team with a distinctive take on the genre.
Oh.
Well, that about sums it up.
Now, they don't have the final say, though, because now it's our turn to give our critiques.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're also going to give a breakdown of the characters. So first of all, there's a brief synopsis of the film. Marvel Studios assembles an unconventional team of anti-heroes: Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, and John Walker, after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap set by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. These disillusioned cast-offs must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. Will this dysfunctional group tear themselves apart, or find redemption and unite as something much more before it's too late?
All right, now, before we move forward, we gotta tell everyone there will be spoilers from here.
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning!
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning!
Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
Now, those of you watching right now in the Sky Chat, please share your thoughts on Thunderbolts if you've seen it.
All right, now, although Marvel Social has already unveiled the biggest spoiler this past Monday, what that asterisk means.
Yeah.
Let's just jump ahead and go through that, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, the asterisk basically means that this film was not supposed to be called Thunderbolts. It was supposed to be called The New Avengers. But you don't get that until it's revealed in the final moments of the film with Allegra de Fontaine, Valentina, calling them all to a press conference. So yes, there was several things that Marvel social media did. They shared a couple reels that I saw anyway. So one of them, a poster was set up and all the cast were surrounding it. And Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, came up and she ripped off the bottom titles that said Thunderbolts, and underneath it said New Avengers. And then also I saw another reel where Bucky Barnes, who plays him, Sebastian Stan, it looked to be the street outside the Disney studios.
Oh.
So right in Burbank. He went to a bus stop stand where they have those posters.
Yeah.
And he was all kind of incognito. He had sunglasses and he was carrying a bunch of rolled up posters. Like he looked like a newsie. And then he came and he unrolled one of the posters, and as he was rolling it down, instead of Thunderbolts, it said New Avengers on the poster that he rolled down and taped to the poster stand. It was so cute.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And that all happened on Monday. So they waited the weekend so that the diehard fans would be able to see the film before the spoilers came out all over social media.
As we find out in the film, Thunderbolts is really a reference to Yelena her junior soccer team.
Yeah. She was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
She was on a soccer team.
Yeah. So she
so cute.
on a soccer team that never won a game.
Aww.
And then, of course, the rest of the team hated that name, Thunderbolts.
And so did she.
Yeah.
It represented losing.
It brought back some bad memories.
Yeah.
All right, now let's break down the characters and where we've seen them before, okay?
Okay.
Now, they have been in past MCU films and shows, but we're going to leave out the comics to avoid confusion and massive overload.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is just the MCU.
Yes.
All right, let's start with Yelena Belova. Now, she is the head of this unit. She's the one who gets them all together, and she's the voice of reason throughout the whole film. And she's played by Florence Pugh fantastically. I loved her since Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
She really adapted to that whole, I'm a spy, but I'm also someone who's very, very conflicted, and I hate my past, but this is what I've been bred for. And her whole argumentative side with her sister, Natasha Romanoff, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So she is the adoptive sister of Natasha, aka Black Widow Romanoff.
Right.
And Yelena was first seen in Black Widow and then Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in Black Widow, it was she and Natasha who tore down the Red Room.
Right.
They were part of the Red Room operative, which trains Black Widows, and they went and found the location and they just destroyed it.
It was pretty awesome. Yeah. And Fernando Zayas is saying that she was the heart of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And yes, Fernando, this is a spoiler review.
All right, now her powers include she's a master martial artist. She has mastery of all kinds of weapons, and she's a spy.
Yes.
Now it's not clear if she's a rebel spy,
Ooh.
but probably everyone is but me. And her likes, she loves the song American Pie, and she really loves pockets.
Yes.
And her dislikes,
she likes macaroni too.
She likes macaroni.
Mm-hmm.
What does she like?
She likes pockets. Oh, macaroni. Macaroni?
There you go.
There you go.
All right, and her dislikes, superhero posing. It's so disgusting.
You're a poser. No, that sounded terrible.
Yes, it did. And that was one of the funniest things when she and Natasha were talking about her whole when Natasha lands.
She does the 3-point landing.
Yeah, does that action figure posing.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Red Guardian. He's played by David Harbour, best known from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And he was seen in Black Widow. But
right.
Before that, well, I gotta say, he did appear in the 4th and 5th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from 2016 to 2018, but he was played by Zach McGowan.
Wow, I don't remember this character
Not whatsoever
at all. But in those final seasons, we weren't really watching them. They kind of jumped the shark a little bit.
Saw the 4th and 5th seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have seen this character, but played by another actor. He is the adoptive father of Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff, as seen in Black Widow. And he is the Soviet Union's first official super soldier, which is Russia's answer to Captain America.
Yes.
And his powers?
Mm-hmm. His powers, he has, like Captain America, enhanced strength. He has durability, enhanced healing, and great reflexes. And he just loves to be in the spotlight. He wants the acclaim that Captain America has,
mm-hmm.
but he just will never be up to that bar.
No, come on, it's Steve Rogers.
But he has a man crush on Steve Rogers.
Oh, very much so.
It's so cute. Now, is he as old as Steve Rogers?
No, because Steve Rogers was buried in ice for 70 some odd years.
Okay. Okay.
And not Red Guardian.
Okay. Got it.
All right, next we have Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan. And we first saw him in 2011's Captain America, the First Avenger. So he's going on 14 years of playing Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier. And he was also in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Captain America Brave New World.
Yeah, he was in the most recent film.
As the congressman, somehow.
And many of you know that he was best friends with Steve Rogers before he was brainwashed into the Winter Soldier. And his powers, again, he has enhanced strength, durability, healing, reflexes, and a hell of a cybernetic left arm.
Oh, very much so.
Which at this point isn't it made of Wakandan
Vibranium?
Vibranium.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, got it.
But very, very cybernetic.
Right. Ooh, and Fernando says Bucky is his favorite character. Excellent. And let's see. Thunderbolts was amazing, says Maria.
Oh, you know what? Everyone has agreed on this. I don't think anyone yet has said anything negative about it.
Right, and Teresa also has tuning in. Hi, Teresa.
Hey, spoilers, yes. Yeah. How do you do a thorough breakdown without doing spoilers?
Yeah, you really can't. And we want this to last the test of time, too. So I hate when I go back to podcast shows and listen to a spoiler-free review. It's like, well, but I want you to dig into the movie a couple years in. So, yeah.
All right, next up, we have John Walker, a.k.a. U.S. Agent, and he is played by Wyatt Russell. He was seen in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was his big debut. And John Walker was chosen by the government to succeed Steve Rogers as the second Captain America. However, he besmirched the shield by beheading a guy in anger out in public. And when you do something in public, guess who knows it? Social media and TikTok.
Which means everyone.
Yeah, so at that point, Sam Wilson stepped in as Captain America, having been handpicked by Steve Rogers to succeed him. And his powers, through Super Soldier Serum, John Walker has super strength, mastery of shield wielding, and the smuggest of the bunch. That's his power. He's very, very smug.
Yeah, he's not very likable. Not a very likable character. Yeah.
Oh, Maria says that she appreciates there wasn't a lot of corny Marvel jokes.
I don't know, Maria. I feel like the humor was normal,
very on
point Marvel humor.
Yeah.
For this film, but interesting.
I've never seen the Marvel humor as being corny.
Okay.
But you know what? To each is their own.
Absolutely.
All right, now we have Ava Starr, a.k.a. Ghost. And she is played by Hannah John Kamen. And she was seen in Ant-Man and the Wasp, where the character is a female incarnation from the comics.
Oh, okay.
So did a little gender swap there. So at a young age, S.H.I.E.L.D. took advantage of her powers, enlisting her as a stealth operative under the name of Ghost in exchange for helping cure this quantum disease. Guess what? S.H.I.E.L.D. lied. They never helped her at all.
No.
It's dangling that carrot. And her powers are molecular phasing, quantum vision, and energy tracking.
I feel like in this film we got a lot more of her than we did in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And her molecular phasing really came in handy.
Oh, yeah. Hank Pym was trying to help her along with
his daughter?
Michelle Pfeiffer's character's name I forget.
Okay.
They were trying to help her with this phasing disease, but then Thanos had to go and snap right at that moment, so she was only half cured.
Okay.
So so that's her thing right there. So everyone at this point has got like this black shadow over them. Something that they just want to get rid of. Something that they just want to move past it.
Interesting that you called it a black shadow.
Or should I call it void?
Yes, I think so.
All right.
All right, next we have Taskmaster, played by Olga Kurilenko, and she was first seen in Black Widow, where, again, this character is a female incarnation from the comics, and she is another Black Widow alumni of the Red Room, where she was brainwashed by her father, Dreykov. You remember him? He was the big bad in Black Widow. And her powers is she has this amazing power to mimic any kind of style or power or fighting style that someone else has and use it against them. So I remember that fight on the bridge where she was fighting Black Widow, and it was almost like they were mirror images of each other.
Yeah, a great sequence.
Yeah.
But once again, spoiler, she was killed.
Yes.
In the first battle of the movie by Ghost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was too bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now, assembling the team is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Elaine Bennis. I'm sorry, what's that say? Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she was seen in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Ooh.
So, Contessa Valentino Allegra de Fontaine is a noblewoman, chairwoman of Ox, and the one-time director of the CIA, and she is interested in privatizing global security and gaining power within the United States government. So she sought out these recruits to be a new Avengers.
Right, yeah.
So she's like the Agent Fury of these new anti-heroes.
Absolutely. Yeah, and she really doesn't have any powers at all except for manipulation and deception.
Yeah, she's a liar.
Oh, yeah.
She's like S.H.I.E.L.D. Nothing but liars.
Yes.
All right. Maria says in the Sky Chat, I struggle to take her seriously after seeing her play Elaine in Seinfeld for so many years. And that was my problem. And everyone got on me about that when we did our breakdowns of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was my thing. I was like, I can't see past Elaine Bennis. I just can't.
Well,
and everyone kept saying, no, she's an actor. She should be allowed to broaden out. But that's not the point.
Right. It's how you were informed with her character. It's hard to see her. Now, she is in Veep, which is a series that has won, many accolades. She plays the vice president, right?
Yeah.
And I think there people have seen her as beyond Elaine Bennis, but we've never watched that series.
After 9 years of Elaine, that's all I see. Yeah, we never got into Veep.
No. And it's won so many awards. I mean...
Yeah, she's won a ton of awards.
Yeah.
But you know what? I gotta say that through this movie, I saw her more as this character instead of Elaine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, she had more of a bigger part as well.
Yeah, so...
Like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's a very small part that she has. And in Black Widow, she just kind of turns up very quickly. So at the very end.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now there is a new member of the team.
It's Bob. It's Bob, everyone.
Bob is here.
And I heard that the actor Lewis Pullman was like, can we please name him something other than Bob? I guess in his previous movie he had just done, he was also Bob.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So, nope, you are Bob Reynolds from here until the end of time. And this guy, he is a former drug addict who took part in Project Sentry, which is an operation of Ox designed to create the ultimate superheroes. This was put together by Valentina. So she's finding these like dregs of society and building her own empire, her own army with these dregs. I'm not sure what she thought was going to happen. Like, if you're going to get drug addicts, they're not going to pull through like a Steve Rogers.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And it's history repeating itself because no one learns from history. I mean, what happened with John Walker? He went crazy. Only Steve Rogers was able to, it amplified the best parts of himself.
Yeah, he's like the ultimate Boy Scout. Now, unlike the other experiments, he's the only one to survive. And he's got amnesia, so when they find him in this test facility, he's got no idea what's happening, what he had gone through. But he is going to gain this immense power and become the Sentry, which is like, I equated him with, not Superman, but Homelander from The Boys.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he had that same coiffed look, and he had like the ultimate power. He could lay waste to anything in front of him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, now that you say
now.
that, I absolutely see it. And I did like his darker hair better. Like, I did not like his bleached blonde look. Yeah. That wasn't good. That was all Valentina's idea. Kind of make him that ultimate superhero.
And he's got the two sides.
Yes.
The dark side of him is the Void. And when when he wants to lay waste to you, you turn into this ash and shadow, kind of like Hiroshima when the atomic bomb went off. People just turned to ash, and you would see like their ashy remains. Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Only we learned from the film that they don't actually die. Like when that little girl died, remember?
Yeah. At that point, I thought,
was
okay,
awful.
how are they going to reverse this? What's the anti-snap here?
Yeah. So really, it was just bringing that person, instead of killing them, into the deepest, darkest places of their mind.
All right. So
I wonder what that little girl was in. Because if you're a little girl, usually you don't have the deepest, darkest places yet. She probably went to a place where she was crying that her toy was taken away.
Yeah. Or maybe what she wanted to do to that bully on the playground that pulled her braid.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the characters of Thunderbolts and where we had seen them last. Because I know when I was watching this, I was like, okay, who's Taskmaster? Who's this again? And the Ghost. Where do we see this character? Which is why we want to do this for all the Skywalkers who haven't seen the movie yet. So you'll go in going, okay, I know I have everything in place now. I can enjoy the movie.
Right.
So speaking of which, when we were going into the film, we
Yes.
saw a media screening. Thank you so much to Disney. When you were sitting down, you were thinking about the film, what were your expectations?
So I feel like, again, because Thunderbolts and
Brave New Order
Brave New World
of the Phoenix?
Brave New World, Brave New World had Thunderbolt Ross. This movie's called Thunderbolts. So back in December, I was confused, and I was like, wait, we saw a trailer with Yelena, and when that Thunderbolts logo came up, I was like, oh, well, where's Harrison Ford in this trailer? But it wasn't. It's the different movie. So
you know what? That never even dawned on me. That never even dawned on me.
It's like, why are you calling it Thunderbolts? And then Harrison Ford is Thunderbolt Ross. So I got confused.
He doesn't even get mentioned in this movie.
No. Oh, wait. I think she does mention it. Doesn't Valentina at one point says, yeah, the president went crazy. And now, at the very opening scene.
Made a very, very slight reference to the Red Hulk.
Yes.
But that was it. But wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm confused. But we said at the beginning of this segment, Thunderbolts was a reference to Yelena's Pee-wee soccer team.
Exactly. So they could have been anything. They could have called that anything. They could have called it Shooting Stars, like my 7-year-old soccer team.
Right. Okay. But why not just from the start call it the New Avengers?
Because they wanted the whole reveal, which I think was really a fun marketing thing. So I liked that.
Right. But now, but what if you called it Stark? Is Tony Stark the head of this?
Right.
Of this new anti-hero division?
I see what you're saying.
Okay. All right.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. You know what? Go ahead.
Anybody here in the Sky Chat, put out some other soccer team names that we could have used instead of Thunderbolts. That wouldn't be confusing. So after I saw Brave New World, why can I not think of that name? I think you get confused, I get confused. After I saw that, then I was like, okay, now this is a different movie coming up. So I got that straight in my head. Overall, I feel like the trailers made this movie look pretty fun with maybe some dark humor. So I was expecting a fun ride that really didn't have all that much to do with the greater MCU. Boy, was I wrong. And above all that, I really was just looking forward to seeing Yelena again because I had loved her so much in like that macaroni scene from Hawkeye. To this day, we quote that scene. So yeah. So really, it was more about just looking forward to Yelena and what she was going to do. So I was pleasantly surprised when she was really the star of this film. It was about all the Avengers, but she really led it in terms of, star power.
Mm-hmm.
So Richard, what about you? What were your expectations going in?
Very low.
Oh, see, it could have been called the Powder Puffs, says
Thank you,
Maria.
in the Sky Chat. Then people would have thought, is this the Powerpuff movie?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So this was a movie I just was not looking forward to. I thought this was something that was going to come and go very, very quickly, even faster than Brave New World.
Okay.
That went by pretty fast. It was here today, gone tomorrow. Even though it was a Marvel film, I thought, okay, this will keep us going until Fantastic Four. Okay, it was that stepping stone to Fantastic Four. We'll see this, and that'll be it. it was based on characters from other series. So I thought there was a lot of homework that needed to be done. We didn't have this episode to listen to or watch before going in. So how much mental power is this going to take while watching the movie? And I just don't like doing that during a film because we don't have a pause button in the theater, and they hate it when we go up there and stop the film ourselves. They go, okay, now who is this character and what do they do? And so I thought there was a whole lot of homework that needed to be done, including Ghost, who we hadn't seen in 7 years.
Yes.
But Yelena kept me interested. She was front and center in all the posters, and she never disappoints. And Red Guardian was awesome in Black Widow. He always brings the humor. So there was enough there to keep me interested. And then, how is this going to fit in the MCU? Between A Brave New World, which had a lot to do with the MCU, you could really see where that fits in. But this, how is this going to fit in with Brave New World and Fantastic Four? Is this going to be like just a standalone film? So my expectations going in were very low.
Okay. Fernando is saying, I always had faith in the movie. Nice.
You're a better man than me.
Okay, so those were our expectations, but now what are our initial thoughts after seeing the film?
Oh, can I go first?
Yes, Richard, did you have something to say?
I love this movie. After the first 10 minutes, I was so happy that I was having a great time, and all my worries and fears were dissipated. The action sequences were great. Yelena, she's very bored with life. Been there, done that. And she goes into this place, but it's like, okay, here's another corridor battle. We've seen this in every film. But wow, they did it in such a unique, different way where it's all shot overhead, and it's like all the shadows that are doing all the fighting. And at that point, I realized, well, this is going to be different, isn't it? I loved it from there. I had so much fun with this. The humor, sorry, Maria. I thought the humor was very on point for Marvel. And the jump to the end, they all tied it up in a very, very satisfying way. And beyond that, it dealt with something on a deeper level, and that was mental health. Now, the Avengers have always had their problems, but this film really took the time and dealt with it head on in a very successful way.
Yeah, I will second that. I mean, the whole film opens with Yelena, front and center. She's sitting on the edge of a very tall building and talking about how, it's been a year since Natasha's death, her sister's death, and she's just been feeling very like there's a void inside her. And meanwhile, she's looking over this building into the void, and then she jumps off. So the very beginning
and
deals...
they keep using that word void.
Yes. And the very beginning just deals with that mental health, and it all wraps up with the climax is dealing with mental health. So I feel like this film is the therapy session we didn't know we needed, because I laughed because of that Marvel humor. I cried that moment with Yelena and Red Guardian. They're talking together and he's giving her a pep talk and saying sorry for not being the best dad. And it was just so unexpectedly good. I feel like this is the inside out of the Marvel universe, because each character, they had these huge flaws. As we were talking about, all of these characters are loners, and Valentina exploited every one of them. And each character really had to wrestle with and come to terms with those flaws within themselves. So it's very different from most superhero films that deal with the big bad that's outside. This side was all about dealing with your inner self. And each of the characters had to deal with that, and including in a big way, Lewis Pullman, Bob.
Yeah. And there's a great scene between Yelena and Bob where Bob his depression has just taken over him. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know what to do. And Yelena, she's not a therapist, but she's dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety, losing her sister. Her father has been out of the picture. The two of them have a scene. If they don't win an Oscar for the best duo, then forget it. Come on, salvage yourself Academy Awards. Nominate these two, because of that one scene where they really delve into Bob's psychosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, at the beginning, Yelena has this little inner monologue where she says that it's been a year since Natasha's death, and they do a great job stopping the film every once in a while and explaining things and explaining where they are and what's going on, because there's 7 characters to keep track of, and Red Guardian has got this very heavy Russian accent, so sometimes the dialogue gets lost. So if you can see this film with one of those closed captioning machines, I suggest to do it. And they do a phenomenal job of telling you what's happening, but they do it very naturally. And I thought they did it better than any other film I've ever seen.
I think they did that because along the way they'd pick up the extra characters. Like the core team, breaks away out of that facility, but then Red Guardian comes and picks them up. And in that scene, when they're driving, they kind of have a little recap. And then later on, there's another point where they have a little recap. So it was very well done, like you said. Yeah. And also, I want to just, again, give big props to Florence Pugh as Yelena and Lewis Pullman as Bob. They are just great actors. They have great chemistry. I totally ship them. Also, Lewis Pullman, to answer your question, Maria, she is asking, is Bob the son of the actor who plays the president in Independence Day? Yes, Maria. Lewis Pullman is the spitting image of Bill Pullman in Newsies or While You Were Sleeping or Independence Day from the 90s, in which in the 90s, I had a big crush on Bill Pullman. So yeah, kind of stands to reason now I have a crush on Lewis Pullman.
And that one went right over my head. But during the film, you leaned over and said, that's Bill Pullman's son. It's like, oh, okay, now I see it.
Yeah. And he's also in that Lessons in Chemistry TV show from Apple TV Plus. That's him.
Are you kidding me?
With Brie Larson. Yes.
He's the husband.
He's the husband.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's an incredible actor. Incredible.
He was great in that series.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's all coming together.
Yeah.
So you have Bill Pullman's son, and you have Kurt Russell's son.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now.
Yes.
If I hear one thing about nepotism, I'm going to lose it. Because these two actors were both so incredible in these roles. They got these roles because they deserve it. A couple of times I thought it was Kurt Russell making a cameo, since Wyatt Russell sounds just like his dad. So I thought, wait a minute, is Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy? Is he in this movie now?
Is the computer who wore tennis shoes? Is he in this movie now?
Let's throw all the Disney Kurt Russell characters in here. Is he now the strongest man? You know what? Forget the Sentry. We have the strongest man in the world.
That's so funny. Yeah. And then bringing it back around, I also loved the fact that the action scenes were done differently in this film. Also, I felt like it was very well done. Now, Fernando brings up a point here. He says that he feels like they spent a little too much time in the facility trying to break out. And Fernando, I'm going to counter you on that, because in the facility, this team came to the facility that Valentina had sent them to basically kill each other and get rid of them, right? That was her whole thing. She wanted to get rid of any evidence that she was working on this Sentry project. But they all figured it out before they could all kill each other. Only Taskmaster died. And so in this facility, yes, I think it was a good 25 minutes of the film that they were in there trying to get out. Maybe not quite that much. But in that time, they had to learn to work together. All these loners who were just kind of down on themselves had to share information. Again, Yelena gives Bob that pep talk. They all had to share information and learn how to break out together. And also, Bob sacrificed himself, even though he didn't know he had powers, but he kind of knew he had powers. He didn't know what his powers were. So he sacrificed himself so that the group could escape. And so he was showing selflessness in that moment before the void took him over. And because of this whole scene in the facility, that is how they could all come together and defeat his void at the end of the movie. So I think it all circled back around. It was a very well done script in that way.
Well, I would even go a little bit further in that blast radius of a analogy and say, remember in the Avengers when you had the Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man, when they first got together, they were in a big battle.
That's true.
And I believe even in the Netflix Defenders show, those characters were all in battle. And that's a good way of showing what character has got what strengths and weaknesses.
Like the Age of Ultron you're talking about, right? I think
in Avengers.
Oh, the Avengers
the original
film, that's right.
Avengers. Yeah. You put all these alphas together, of course they're going to battle.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this is these new Avengers, they're kind of all the not alphas, right? They're kind of
they're very ragtag.
Yeah.
They're very down on their luck, and they don't
Right.
have a whole lot of confidence.
No, but they give each other confidence as they go along, or give each other the pep talks when needed. So I think that the whole facility thing really worked out well.
Because what is each one of them? What are they all missing? Family.
Yes.
And now this new Avengers is their family, so it's up and away.
Right.
I know I'm mixing franchises there with up and away, but yeah, now it's to infinity and beyond with them, because they have this sense of self, the sense of family, the sense of community. Now they can be the team that is going to be undefeatable.
Right.
Even though they don't really have powers.
I know, yeah. Like
They even say
Yelena
that,
says.
yeah.
Wait, does none of us fly?
Do we just punch and shoot? Which I really like.
Yeah.
It
makes them underdogs.
Yes.
And everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah. And you see a character like the Hulk, it's like, okay, he's not going to die in battle.
Mm-hmm.
But these characters can die in battle.
Only really Wyatt Russell has got like that super serum. So.
Well, and the Red Guardian as well.
Oh, that's true.
But they don't have the powers of like the Hulk or Iron Man, who's got the big iron suit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like the Avengers plus.
Asterisk.
Asterisk.
Okay, what are some of the things maybe you should know going in? And so I feel like it would be helpful to see Black Widow, just so you can see Yelena and her father's relationship. And I mean, also Taskmaster is in that movie, but you don't need to know much about Taskmaster for this film. But really, through context clues and dialogue for Thunderbolts, you really get this relationship. So you don't need to see it, but yeah. But also the end credits scene of Black Widow leads directly to this film, because Yelena is mourning her sister Natasha at her gravesite, and that's when Valentina sidles up to her and recruits her and says, oh, Hawkeye killed Natasha. You know, it kind of sicks Yelena on Hawkeye at that point.
And as Maria says also, they are lovable underdogs like the Guardians of the Galaxy. And what did they do when they first met? They fought.
They did?
Like any good family.
Yeah. It's a formula that works, honestly.
And even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it wouldn't hurt to watch a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Just to know John Walker's backstory and how he becomes Captain America and then the U.S. agent.
Right. And even Valentina's in that as well.
Yeah. And you'll know what they're referring to in the Thunderbolts when they allude to the fact that John Walker had killed someone.
Yes.
With his shield.
Also, in Thunderbolts, John Walker is very much an asshole. Like, pretty much the whole film.
He's very smug.
He is. And so, like, it lends him a little more humanity to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Whereas Tony Stark's smugness worked.
Yeah.
He
had
John
smugness
Walker
and charm.
Is that smug that just can't pull it off.
Right.
And like him.
Yeah.
Some smug you can like. The Han Solo smug you like.
Oh, yeah.
The Tony Stark. But John Walker, he doesn't know how to do it right. There's no balance there.
You got to have the smugness with charm. And he doesn't have the charm.
No, because we see that one scene where he and his wife are yelling at each other, and he's really disregarding his crying child because he's looking on his phone at these past stories. Never Google yourself.
No.
And he Googled himself. It's like, oh, here's all these discrediting stories about how he was thrown out of the whole government operation.
Exactly, yeah. How he was besmirched the Captain America shield and name. Yes.
He got all bloody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now if you were to have any nitpicks.
Okay, and also Skywalkers in the Sky Chat, let us know your nitpicks. Okay, so my main one, yes, they did a great job during the film of recapping things. Except for in that opening scene in the facility when they are all fighting each other, Taskmaster and Ghost had very similar outfits. They both had like kind of dark armor and a white helmet. And yes, I know they were different helmets, but in a dark scene when you're watching, they weren't very well-known characters to begin with. And so the one confusing moment for us was when all these 5 characters, they were fighting each other and who was killed? Like, I thought it was Ghost that was killed. In fact, I leaned over to you and I was like, who was killed? Was it Ghost or Taskmaster? And you were like, Ghost. And then later on when she's phasing in the walls, I'm like, I think it was Taskmaster that was killed.
I think you're right.
I think it happened that way.
And
So we were very confused for like, a quarter of the film.
To that guy B in the Sky Chat, he says killing off Taskmaster so quick is one of his biggest gripes, but it had to be done. Or else it would just be way too confusing as to who was who.
Yeah. Oh, and Fernando says that, let's see, Ghost disappears in the second half of the movie. Yeah, I guess, because they kind of more...
Or does he phase?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right, because they more lean into the psychosis. Yeah, we don't really ever get her backstory, because Lewis Pullman, what's his character?
Bob. How could you forget Bob?
I'm sorry. But in the facility, Bob touches both Yelena and John Walker, which is where we see their deepest, darkest, worst moments of themselves. We also see Bob's worst moment. So arguably, those are the characters they focused in on. And Red Guardian was still there because he had to give Yelena a pep talk. So Ghost kind of got shoved to the side towards the end of the film.
So he's kind of like Scarlet Witch, where she could, in Avengers...
Bob is, yes.
Age of Ultron. Yeah, she would touch certain characters and they would go to these... Go to this dark place.
Does this with her fingers. It was fun.
Yeah. Now, for me, this is more of a production thing.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've been an extra on movies, and they always tell you, do not look at the actors, just walk right by them. However, it was just so apparent on this movie that the extras were told, do not look at these characters. Just walk. It's New York. Just walk and don't even look at them. Don't not refer to them. Don't give them a what's up.
Yeah.
When you see Red Guardian and Yelena out in the street and they're arguing with each other, I know it's New York and everyone argues, but you're going to want to glance over and everyone just looks straight ahead.
They keep walking.
And Red Guardian with his big Captain America-ish type of costume, someone's going to look over at them. So it's very distracting that no one paid attention to them. If anything, they were going to think that, oh, this is one of those cosplayers who's out trying to make a buck on the New York streets. And if somebody had come by and give them like $1, that would have been funny.
I can see that.
Or they would have done it in an alcove where they're not so readily available to the other public.
Like they were right on a street corner.
Yes.
There, yeah.
Yes. And once again, it's New York and no one pays it. If they were all looking at their phones, that'd be one thing, but no one was looking at their phones. And I paid very close. This was very distracting when it shouldn't have been distracting. They were just walking along the street holding their briefcase and coffee.
You just know too much about production.
Yes.
Okay. And whereas I was like in the moment, I was like crying in this scene because Yelena and Red Guardian, he's like, oh, I should have been a better father. I should have reached out to you after a year. And
I'm like,
yeah.
They should have had a better AD. That's what I'm thinking.
Like tears streaming.
It's the assistant directors always tell you, do not look at the actors. I was like, Sarah, what are you crying about? Because those extras just, they were too much into their direction.
All right, Maria says that she would have liked a bigger third act. Because the third act was really just the void, right? And then
it was devoid of a third act. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Devoid of a longer third act.
Well, what was interesting about this film, again, going back to our initial thoughts, is that that third act battle really happened inside Bob's head.
It was very psychological.
It was very internal, psychological.
Yeah. A whole different take on a Marvel finale battle.
Yeah.
And then when all the Thunderbolts got together and they're backing Valentina into a corner, she goes through this like curtain. They follow her into a press conference.
Yes.
She's always one step ahead. And now here's all these cameras, and they're talking about, hey, and Valentina's like, everyone, I want to introduce you to the new Avengers. And they all play into it, and they tell her, yeah, we own you now.
Yes.
We can all work together, but you slip up, we're going to tell the press what is actually going on.
Exactly. And this is another way the film really ties itself up in a neat bow, is at the beginning of the film, one of the things that Yelena was wanting was she was kind of done being the assassin in the shadows kind of life. She wanted to be the public-facing superhero like her sister Natasha. And Red Guardian has always wanted that. And a lot of these characters, they were done kind of being that low version of themselves.
And ultimately, they all just want to help people. The Red Guardian's like, I was happiest when I was helping people on the streets.
So really, this is kind of a win-win situation. Valentina is making sure that she doesn't get impeached by showing everyone that she has formed a group of superheroes that will help them, called the New Avengers. And these superheroes who weren't really superheroes are now going to be the anti-heroes, are going to be the public facing, so they're going to get what they want. But
it's a win-win, but everyone's just watching each other. One slip up, and it's all over. Then we cut to the credits. The best credit sequence I've ever seen.
This was amazing. So many titters in the room, so many people laughing. Yeah, so you get not only the credits, but you get propaganda.
Headlines from websites.
Yes, websites, the New Yorker magazine, Newsweek, not my Avengers.
The D-Vengers. This is the MCU getting way ahead of the critics mocking them, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Very masterful.
It's also kind of a little like Deadpool,
Yeah, very, very,
very meta.
Very meta.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you know what? We're going to get you, critics and websites and YouTubers. We're going to get you before you get us. Wow. And to see that in a room full of critics and bloggers and vloggers.
Probably who some weren't right for those headlines, the magazines.
Yeah, that was so funny.
And so one of my favorites was the one with Yelena in the We Can Do It pose from the 40s. And it says, can she do it? Instead of we can do it. Very cute.
All right, so there's two post-credit scenes.
Yes.
And the first one is more just a throwaway gag where you see the Red Guardian. He's in a supermarket in the cereal aisle, and he's standing next to the Wheaties boxes.
Which you can buy.
Which you can buy, which has been their marketing for the last couple of months. We were wondering why. Now you know why. So all of the Thunderbolts are on the Wheaties box, and people walk by. He's like, hey, have you considered having some Wheaties? And he's holding up to his face like, huh? Me? And this guy on the box? And this one woman takes the box, and before she rounds the corner at the end of the aisle, she throws it down on the end on the
she's like, oh, okay, I'll take it. Just to placate him. And then before she leaves the aisle, she's like, sets it down.
Yeah. Very funny. That was the first. Like, okay, but there's got to be another one, right? Yes.
It is the longest end credit scene in MCU history at nearly 3 minutes long.
Now they're all in the Avengers Tower, Tony Stark's Avengers Tower, and they got their new superhero team outfits, and Bob is there too. And what is his big contribution to the team?
Oh, well, if Bob takes on his superhero power, the dark side might come over him, so he stays away from that. Instead, he does the dishes.
And he's very proud of it.
Yes.
And they're all around, and they're discussing that Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, is suing them for using the Avengers name. And you see this with a lot of rock bands when they split up. Like, even the Monkees, Columbia was like, hey, this is our title, but the band's like, hey, you know what? We've been going out on the road for the last 30 years. I think it belongs to us now. So the court said, all right, the Monkees, the band, you get the name.
Oh, okay.
So Sam is trying to sue them for using the name, but Red Guardian, he's figured it all out, hasn't he?
He's on top of it. Yes. Instead of Red Avengers, it's Avengers with a Z at the end of Avengers instead of the S. It is very, very cute.
Then suddenly they get an alert that there's an extra-dimensional spacecraft heading down towards the Earth. And since they're the new Avengers, they're the ones to call. And what was this dimensional spacecraft?
Yes. We like zoom into the iPad that Yelena's holding, and the ship kind of swivels around, and it's the Fantastic Four rocket. Now explain this though, because I don't really understand totally.
Okay, so this, I'm guessing, is the Fantastic Four coming back down to Earth after they've gone up to the cosmos and they've gotten their powers. Now they're coming back down to the Earth, and that's where the Thunderbolts, or the new Avengers, they see this.
But this is extra dimensional spacecraft, which means, because we know that the Fantastic Four is set in an alternate dimension than ours.
The 1960s.
So it must have gone past dimension. It's a multiverse.
Yeah,
it's a multiversal spacecraft. Yes. What is it?
Or it's Doctor Doom.
Oh.
He could be in there.
You think?
I'm just thinking of all possibilities.
Okay.
But either way, it is something having to do. So this is like a trailer for the next film.
Right. Okay. So Fernando is saying it kind of spoils the ending of Fantastic Four. But is it the ending, or
this is the beginning when they're coming back down to Earth, and now they've all gotten their cosmic powers.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Since that takes place in 1960s, the Fantastic Four.
But it's the alternate dimension 1960s.
Right.
Because there's different. They're like, yeah, it's different.
Okay, but if they walk out and Chris Evans is playing the Torch and John Krasinski is playing Reed Richards.
That would be amazing. Oh my God. So these movies are intertwined, but we don't exactly know how yet.
Yes.
And I think we have to see the Fantastic Four to really understand.
All right, but I think we're all in agreement. No more multiverses.
But they're doing it. They're doing it here.
No. Bad, Marvel. Bad.
Okay. Let's see. Maria thinks that they escape the Earth from the destruction of Galactus?
Yeah, so this could be a whole different thing. Maybe Maria is right, and at the end of Fantastic Four, they do escape Galactus.
Oh.
And now they're coming back into this
dimension,
or what do you call it in Loki?
Universe, multiverse?
Yeah.
Earth 616?
Yes.
Versus Earth 515 or something.
I hope they don't do that.
Okay.
Okay, Marvel, if you're listening, Kevin Feige, are you hearing me? No more multiverses. We're done with that, okay?
But one of the things they did have in that end credit scene when they're showing that Fantastic Four mobile is the Fantastic Four music, which we heard the debut of with Michael Giacchino in the room at D23. So that was exciting.
So that is definitely going to tie into the movie.
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
But
we'll see.
So we have another 2.5 more months.
July, right?
Yes.
July. Okay.
Yeah, end of July. Ooh. All right, so Skywalkers, what did you think of Thunderbolts?
Or asterisk, the new Avengers.
Let us know in the comments of this show's post, and we can't wait to see this team return in Avengers Doomsday.
That wraps up this episode 515 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Asterisk.
We would like to thank Disney for inviting us to the Thunderbolts media screening. And we want to thank all of you Skywalkers who listen every week and join in our conversation. We couldn't do it without you. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be one of the over 10.5 thousand strong as subscribers.
Now, do you have things that you want to share? Well, we do, and we want to share them every Monday with you at 6 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, and we go also live on our Facebook group, and that's where we share things we've done in the past week. Last week, we shared our time for May the 4th. When we shared before that, Fan Fest night at Universal. We share lots of stuff, and if the Skywalkers want to come on and share something that they've done, if they have something new to their collection, we invite you on. Show everybody. This show is just as much yours as it is ours.
And we also do trivia.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Super fun. I know you guys all like the trivia as well. Yay. Are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and our interactive notebook are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. And also, you can support Skywalking Through Neverland in a different way. You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. And the Skywalking Force has access to bonus content. Each week, sometimes we put our shows up early for the Skywalking Force. We also put out our whole WonderCon trivia panel video for the Skywalking Force. We're not going to put out that whole video on YouTube. That's just for you guys. And this bonus content begins at only $5 a month. So head to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at the options. Also, this week we are going to post, a roundtable interview we did with Nika Futterman. That will be a video on YouTube, but only for the Skywalking Force. I will also put it out as an audio-only podcast episode that you can listen to if you prefer listening to your media that way.
And she is the voice of Asajj Ventress, and she just came up with the Star Wars Tales of the Underworld anthology series.
It's so great.
We talk all about behind the scenes of that series and her character. Get into the mind of Asajj Ventress.
Yes.
Not a safe place to be. All right, now we want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Disney cruise, or to a Universal Studios theme park? We can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
All right, Skywalkers in the Sky Chat, get ready. We are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes.
Which new episode will come out next week. Star Warsologies.
Which has 3 episodes coming out this week, all from Celebration Japan.
Wow.
The Max Effects Podcast.
The Neverland Clubhouse.
Totally Tell Me Everything.
And the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
put an asterisk after everything you say.
And asterisk,
Neverland on Alderaan.
Asterisk. Clap.
Hey, Skywalkers. You say asterisk.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Fernando.
Aw, that's great.
Oh, that puts an extra bounce in our step.
Absolutely.
I gotta tell you. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.